Hello YouTube, this is Boston Best 047, and in this video I'm going to discuss men's rights. And in particular, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to cleanse my soul of men's rights and move on to greater, greener pastures. And the reason I'm doing this after spending a considerable amount of time doing videos. I did some videos on gender issues and things like that. I thought about, I thought about a lot of this stuff and whether or not I wanted to continue with it. Part of the reason is that I had an epiphany about, men and women, a while back or the other day, which made me realize that the MRM and the MGTOW crowd are going in the wrong direction. And also because I guess in a sense I would rather try to work on self improvement and study game or something like that more than I would just uh, you know just cop out and be like, nah, I'm not going to bother with women or anything like that. And really, when you think about it, you think about MLM and MGTOW. Um, the MLM is really, in a sense, beating a dead horse. Um, they are never going to, be successful in the sense that without having to seriously water down their message, which in a sense they've done. They've actually lost their energy. Since like when I got into this stuff, Paul Young, for example, he has some pretty hard hitting videos that I watched, and I liked his videos. But then you find that since then it's become a little bit more watered down, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that for politics, if you're going to bring in women, let's say, you got to kind of, and you're going to deal in big political issues, you got to kind of not be as extreme as you want to be, and this is why apparently, according to something Barbarossa said in one of his videos, the MGTOW thing has actually gone up, and more people are interested in men going their own way than they are in men's rights or men's rights movement. The reason for this is just simply that MGTOW is more masculine. That is, it's more of a masculine solution to a problem. It's what men do. Men will go their own way. If that's what men do. It's not something that women, for example, they create feminism. They create lobbying groups. They want to have they want their grievances answered and things like that. Men don't think that way. Men are independent minded for the most part, and so that's that. And I guess in a sense I support both, but for myself I would much rather improve myself as a man. And because, see, the thing I think that the men going their own way really miss is that they believe, for example, they believe that they've come to a conclusion. They believe they know the nature of women. They believe that women will use men for resources, that women, for the most part, don't care about men personally, implying essentially that women have no sense of romance at all, and no sense of love, and will use everything in their power, even children, to get what they want, and that the selfishness of women knows no bounds. And while the criticisms of the modern female are not without merit, the idea that women are like this in an extreme way is completely flawed. You cannot make a legitimate argument that says that men are just the loving, caring guys, and they adore women, and that it's women's fault. Yes, contrary to popular belief, guys are far more loving, far more interested in their women, care more than they're given credit. And society does not let men really, express their love in that way or whatever. That is true, and that's an argument that needs to be made when the accusations that men are just barbaric and brutish and don't care about women and just use everything that comes their way. But the fact of the matter is, there's that divide. Men have their flaws, and women have their flaws. Men have their virtues, and women have their virtues. The things that women do, or that the modern woman does, are just the exaggeration of general human flaws. not, for example, a problem of unique to them as females. And I think I have to cut myself loose because it's I think unnatural. I have to say I really believe that both feminism and this stuff is unnatural. And really, it's not a solution. Dividing the species more is not is maybe a pragmatic solution, maybe good for a time period, but it's not a long term solution. And Stardust did a video where he said, you're not a repairman, things like that. I think it was something like, no, you're not a repairman. In other words, saying, it's not your responsibility, men, to fix the problems of feminism. Women created this mess; it's up to them to fix it. And if we understand anything at this point, the idea that women, I would say that women, I think, are more deeply conservative than men are. I don't believe women have a desire, nor do they really have an instinct at this point, because they've been told that men are oppressing them, men are this, men are that, men are the other thing. And really, they're not going to do that. So the idea that you can actually do that and that would actually work, no, it's up to men. It's up to men to fix the problem. And the thing is, if men want to be happy, I think if men want to be really happy, right, then they have to kind of go back out there. They have to dust themselves off and avoid defeatism and just go back out there and do their thing. That's what I have to do personally. I don't disagree with the men's movement in substance or in theory, but in practice, I can't really be an MM guy. I can't really go along with that. Really, I would rather try to better myself personally. I'd rather try to work on just bettering myself as a person. And I came to this conclusion. See, I did several videos about these issues, gender issues, and I did that castration video I had. But then I started watching Davis M.J. Reeney's videos, and his critique of the MRA really, I think, set home with me, because it was similar to my own criticism of it, which I said in the Reassessing Men's Rights movement video. I use different language. I thought of it in a different way, slightly. But what he said reflected, I think, reflected my feelings about it perfectly. And really, he said at one point in the video, reject traditional men. He's saying sarcastically, reject traditional masculinity. Don't self-improve. Don't study game. Don't try to better yourself. And that set in with me, because really what you do, like the idea, no, you're not, it feeds into your pride. You're not a repairman. You don't have to do anything. Just kind of, it's easy to do that because it feeds to the superficial part of the human brain, right? It's one of those things. It's easy to succumb to, right? And to become all proud. But you really don't become a better person. You don't develop a better character if you think that way. And for myself, I would rather just work on being a better person and find my self-evaluation, or whatever you would call it. And that to me makes more sense. And that's something that I think is important for men. I think men understand the idea of self-improvement. I think men understand the idea of getting better. And the thing is, we have these brains, right? Our brains are there for us to respond to the environment. We respond, we build better tools, we figure out ways to master the outside world, right? But we also have this other use for this brain. Why is it that the female is so hard to figure out? Well, it's up to us to figure her out. That's what the whole mating process is about. We shouldn't think of the female as being this impossible thing. We should think of it as a challenge. And as men, we should think of every challenge that we come across is just a way to better ourselves. That's a masculine attitude. And so I'm for, in a sense, traditional masculinity. And I'm for, in a sense, a traditional notion of gender roles as well. So for all these reasons, on top of what I've just said, I can't really go along with that. I believe one of the big misconceptions we have about gender roles is that they're chauvinistic, right? Traditional gender roles were complementary. I'm a complementarian in that sense. And I believe that that's the ultimate way to happiness. That is, really what we have to do is we have to better ourselves. Why do women, for example, in relationships, do this thing they call shit tests, where they test a man and they play these little games with the man. They do it to see if the man's capable of figuring it out. Well, that's what we have to do. We have to figure it out. As far as I'm concerned, I would say feminism is one big massive shit test on the whole male population that utterly failed. And that's why women don't respect us anymore. That's why women feel resentful toward us. Is that we're not worthy of respect. We don't behave like men. And so I think the solution is in the mind and in the soul. That's where the real problems of men come from. We have to start being better. Yeah, we have to start being better. And we should see that as a challenge. Instead of something where we're being forced to do it because it's gynocentric. No, it's a challenge. It's androcentric. It's a challenge that we should be proud and happy and glad to take on, because that's what we do as men. We take on challenges, and that's how we're designed psychologically and otherwise. So that's that. And then there's another thing that I think disturbed me about men going their own way. That is, I came across in several comments of men going their own way videos where people were saying that that MGTOW was biblical and things like that. And I came across a blog somewhere that was a Christian man going their way, biblical manhood or something. This idea that doing this would be a biblical solution or whatever. And I whenever I hear something like this, I develop a huge red flag, big alarm goes off in my head. And I have to say that I can't really go along with that. I'm a pagan, and I regard sex as important, as sacred. I regard the union between man and woman as sacred, the polarity, and so I can't really go along with that. And also, I would say that also leads into something that Stardust said, where he considered our man's natural sexual urges for women, to be an addiction. And yeah, it can be an addiction, but I don't really believe in this idea of addiction as such. That is, I don't buy into this pornography addiction crap that you always hear. It's all about personal responsibility and a state of mind. It's all about psychology. If you say I'm not addicted and you act on it, you're not going to be addicted. And so there's no such thing as the addiction of sex, as far as I'm concerned. It's all a state of mind. And so I don't buy into that at all. And it's also one of these things, which is a remnant of Christian morality, that you have to hate. You have to fundamentally hate your sexuality or something, that there's something wrong with it, or that we can go past. And then this other thing, we can go past relationships. We can go into technology. There's this little bit of a transhumanist element, which I'm not interested in. So all of these different reasons, I would say I can't really go along with this. It's just, with that, I can't. My alarm clock, or my red flag, or whatever you want to call it, goes off. When I come across something like that. I'm not into doing any more of that hating of yourself because of nature stuff. I'm not for that at all, and I'm damn sure not for that, for the little bit of a transhumanist element that's there. And I guess I would just have to say in conclusion of this video, really my interest in men's issues, which I still, I guess, in a sense have, but my interest in these issues came at a point in my life when I was going through a rough patch, and I was attracted to the rhetoric. I was attracted to the kind of the frustrations because I related to it, and I had a lot of the frustrations that a lot of other men have. But the thing is, you got to move on. You got to dust yourself off and keep going. You got to try to become a better person, and figure out that what happened back then that may have led you to make mistakes. I made mistakes because I was blind. I made mistakes in my life because I was blind, but I'm not blind anymore, and that's the idea. You have to stop being blind. You have to clean your eyes out and try to see clearly again. And so it's one of these things with the men's rights movement that at a certain point, it's one of these things that you're interested in for a certain point in your life and for a period of time, and then you move on and you get into other stuff. I mostly got into these issues because I've always wanted to be a sociologist, and so when I was studying, or not studying, but when I was watching the videos of people like Go As What, for example, I was intrigued, and I wanted to get involved in this on a sociological, intellectual level, and make videos and try to contribute myself with my own ideas. But I can't really do that. I just have to kind of move on from here, pretty much. But that was one of the main reasons that I started wanting to do videos. But I realized I could apply these same principles, these same sociological perspectives, and do it in a completely different way than what they would do it in, and I don't have to follow that. So that's pretty much what I have to say here. And I'm not saying I won't look at gender issues again in future videos, um, or whatever, or even that I don't completely, I'm not against them, but I just have my own views on the subject. So that's that, and I'll talk to you later. And yeah, so that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.